Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Is Real Life. I'm your host, Sheri, and today we are in the garage. I am feeling much better, and I am super excited for this Halloween DIY. It is a great day outside. I'm happy to be doing something physical in the garage. The outcome is in my mind. It's going to be so good. You are all going to want to make this. So I'm super excited because I have been wanting to make something kind of extravagant for the front yard. Yes, I have my signpost. Yes, I have my spooky cemetery, but I don't have anything that's like, fanciful. And so I thought, what is my front yard lacking? An arch. So we're gonna make the most amazing cemetery gate arch for our front yard. Now, I did get some inspiration from the onlines, but I really came up with this design from my head, how it would work, how we could take it apart and store it, how we can make it cost effective. And I think I've nailed every one of those requirements. Now, technically, the inspiration came from my head because when I thought about how I would construct an arch, I was thinking what would be the easiest way. And I've seen people make arches before. So the first thing that came to mind was PVC pipe. So then I was like, okay, you make it out of PVC pipe. How can you get an arch? How will you make it secure into the ground? So I came up with a little drawing like this. So I came up with this little drawing and I said, okay, we're gonna stake it into the ground with some rebar. That's gonna hold our PVC pipe. But for this arch, I think I'm gonna need to make it out of wood. And then I was like, ooh, I want something on the bottom to make it look a little weighty. And then something at the top. I was hoping to get Dollar Tree solar lights, but they didn't have any cute ones when I went to the Dollar Tree yesterday. So I opted for something else that I think is even going to be cuter. So once I kind of had this basic idea, then I went onto the onlines to look at store-bought cemetery arches. You guys are gonna die. Beware Metal Archway from Grandin Road, $305.10. 97-inch Manor Archway Halloween prop from Halloween Express, $349.99. Archway, 70 inches by 106 inches, cardboard cutout from Oriental Trading, $99.99. Now that is cardboard, and I don't think that's gonna last outside. I'm just saying.
That's not gonna last.
Cemetery archway entrance decoration from Walmart, $314.99. I'm telling you right now, we're gonna save right around $300 making this archway ourselves, and it's gonna be amazing, and I think we're gonna be able to do it pretty quickly. So, because I know you're gonna run out and get everything because you are gonna make this, once you see how it turns out, I'll tell you the supplies we need. They're very minimal and they're very cost effective. So I made 2 trips to the store, one to the Dollar Tree and one to the Lowe's. From the Dollar Tree, instead of solar lights, I got these plastic spider fence stakes. I bought 2 because I want to put them back to back to each other so that they're 3-dimensional and not flat. So these were $1.50 each. Also from the Dollar Tree, I got their, whatever this pot is, for $1.25. I got 2. Now, you could just get one that just looks like a singular pot. My Dollar Tree didn't have those, so I got this instead. I am going to cut a hole out of this, and this is where my PVC pipe and my rebar is going to go through on either side of my arch. The last thing I got at the Dollar Tree was some of their zip ties. These were $1.25. From the Lowe's, you are going to need a 4-foot by 2-foot piece of plywood. I just got the very thin 1/4-inch plywood because I'm trying to keep this light. You're also gonna wanna get some galvanized tube straps. I got 1-inch ones, and there are 4 in one pack. The plywood cost me $14.98, and the galvanized tight fittings cost me $2.78. Then I got 2 rebars, 4 foot long by a half an inch, and these cost $5.88 each. I got some black primer spray paint for $6.98, and I got some Rust-Oleum hammered metal spray paint for $10.98. So my whole total at the Lowe's was $61.26. Add on the $7.25 I spent at the Dollar Tree, and we are just under $70 for this 8.5 foot tall by 4 foot wide cemetery arch for Halloween. I am super excited about it. So as right now, I think the tools that we are gonna need for this project are pretty minimal. You're gonna wanna get a drill and a saw of some sort. I'm gonna use my jigsaw throughout. So if you have a jigsaw, that would be ideal, especially when we get into the arch cutting. But if you don't have a jigsaw and you just have a hand saw, you can modify the arch portion to fit the kind of saw that you have. So don't worry about that. Are you ready to get started? It's all happening. All I can sing right now is, oh, happy day, when the Halloween DIYs came to fruition. Yes. Let's get started. I want to start with all the easy things first and get those knocked out. Because my Lowe's only had 1 inch by 10 foot long PVC pipe, I need to cut these down to 8.5 feet. Because, you know, maybe there are some very tall adults that are going to come up to the door with their child, and I don't want anybody having to duck down. So I'm guesstimating no one in my neighborhood is taller than 6.5 feet. So I'm going to cut my PVC pipe down to 8.5 feet to allow for my arch approximately about 2 feet, which will make it be that like 6.5 foot-ish height. So measuring tape, Sharpie. We're gonna draw our line at 8.5 feet, and then I'm actually just gonna use my jigsaw to cut it off. Okay, that was really easy. So this is done. We don't have to look at these for a little while. We're gonna move them off to the side and get the next easiest part, which is we're going to deal with these. So I'm going to take what I cut off of my PVC pipe to use this as my template. So I am going to take my plastic pot, put this in the middle, draw a circle around it, and then I'm going to cut that circle out. So PVC pipe placed approximately in the center, and then I am going to draw my circle around it. Now, I want my circle to be just a smidgen bigger than the PVC pipe so it easily slides down. So I will cut on the outside of my black line circle. Okay, now that we have our circles drawn on the bottom of our pot, we are going to take our drill with a drill bit that is a little bit bigger than our jigsaw blade. We're going to drill a hole so that we can stick our jigsaw blade in it and then trim out this circle. Okay, they're not the prettiest circles on the planet, but they'll do. For some reason, this plastic was way thinner than this plastic. So this one was just breaking and cracking every time I tried to put my jigsaw in it. Hence why it looks like a shit show. But doesn't really matter, because look, that fits in there and this one fits in there. So we're good. Now we can put these to the side. Okay, now let's deal with this. Now, if you were able to find some like solar light stakes, this stake would already be round. But you see how these are, I mean, they're just cheapy little plastic. So they're flat on the back. I want to make them look round and more three-dimensional. You could get away with just buying one of these and it would be flat in the back and no one would be the wiser. And I should probably do that, but I'm not going to. And my plan is kind of simple, I think, if it works. Again, it's a lot in my head. Trial and error. We'll fix it if it doesn't work. So my plan is to go like this. Now I'm going to take off the plastic chain. We're going to use that as a little something extra on our gate. So I'm gonna save this. Now, if you got solar lights, you won't have a chain. It's not a big deal. It's an addition, and I'm only using it because it's here. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't use it. So next, I need to get rid of the bottom like stake part, because obviously that's not gonna fit. If you have like a strong pair of scissors, again, you could probably jigsaw this off if you wanted to. I have these like really heavy duty metal cutters. So I'm just gonna snip this right off. It doesn't have to be beautiful because this is gonna go in here. Look how cute that's gonna be. So let's snip all of these off. And now this is where our Dollar Tree zip ties come in handy, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zip tie these together, because ain't nobody trying to glue them together. So what I'm gonna do is in between like all the points, I'm gonna thread a zip tie through there, zip it real tight, do one at the bottom, and then we'll have our 3-dimensional spider. And would you look at that? Look, we now have like a 3D spider finial for the top of our cemetery gate. I mean, it's pretty cute. Now that all the easy stuff is out of the way, we need to work on our arch. Depending on the shape, if you just want to do a straight, you don't want anything that's archy, you just want to do a straight piece, by all means, you can get a piece of fence board for like $5 and it will be straight. But I want to go a little over and above, and I want to make an arch. So for that, I got something bendy. This is molding that I didn't use for the sunroom, so it's pretty bendy to give me a good arch shape. I also want to do like filigree. I want my arch, I want the whole thing to come off as like it was made out of wrought iron, and this cemetery is from like 1906. I also am using like round things, anything to give me some symmetrical sort of shapes. But again, if you don't have a jigsaw and you don't want to deal with that, you can literally just have a straight piece of wood. So don't worry about it. Don't get hung up on it. It's gonna look amazing no matter if it's like this or if it's like this. I promise you. Now, because I'm super sneaky, I already have my sign. Editor John and I worked on this for about, I would say about an hour today to get the right look. As you can see, I made an arch shape. Everything that's colored in, I am going to jigsaw out. Now, don't be intimidated by this, because just like I said, you just want to do a straight board. It could be a fence board. Again, fence boards are like $5. This little piece of 2x4 by 1/4 inch plywood cost me $14. So you could save a pretty penny if you just went straight. Now, if you don't have a jigsaw and you don't feel like cutting at all, you could stencil on the word cemetery. You could stencil on any word you want. Hand paint it on. For Pete's sakes, draw it on with a Sharpie. If you have a Cricut, you could create a stencil and Cricut it on, just like I did with the signpost sign. I didn't hand paint those. I just printed them all out on a Cricut and I stuck the Cricut paper onto it. It is up to you. But because I am trying to go for more of a old world pet cemetery kind of vibes, I want to jigsaw it out. It's going to take me a million years, and hopefully I don't break anything and it goes as planned. So to start my jigsaw, I'm going to do just what I did with the pots. I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to drill little starter holes in all of my colored in pencil sections. And then what is remaining will be the wrought iron cemetery gates. So let's get started. Okay guys, I finished jigsawing, and while it did take me a while, it was well worth it. And I still need to sand it, it needs to be painted, but even with all of that still needs to be done, it looks amazing. Look at it. See what I mean? And I put the finials up in there just to get a better idea of what it's gonna look like. And I think it looks really good. Envision everything painted black, the sign sanded, so it's a little bit smooth, a little bit rounded corners. Now, because it doesn't come down as much as I thought it was gonna come down, our poles are actually like 7 feet from like the bottom here down. So I am gonna chop our poles probably another foot because it does not need to be this tall. But come on, it looks so good. Okay, it's a new day and I have been out here all morning sanding and it looks really, really good. I was like, oh my gosh, all we have to do is paint. But I want to assemble how I'm going to hook this sign to our PVC pipe. And that's where our galvanized tube straps come in. I also have to find like screws. I'm thinking a screw with like a nut on the back side of it. That's my plan at least. And I think I'm gonna have to bend these. So if you have your PVC pipe like this is meant to go like this and then screw into like a wall. So what I was thinking is bending this so it was straight so then I could clamp it to either side. So picture this being straight and then me doing this and then screwing it in front to back. I got to figure that out. But I have a feeling I might have to because this is really thin. So I might have to put a little block of wood to thicken up the sides to make this work. Now, when you're making your sign, make sure your design does not go all the way to the edge because you need some room to do the clamp with the screw. So that's why I left about 1.5 inch border on either side of my sign so that I have something to drill into, screw into, whatnot. Let me work on my little pipe clamps, find some screws that fit. I want to do a washer on the back so I can undo it and take the whole thing apart. Let me get all that organized and then we'll put this together and then we can paint. I'm so mad right now. I could scream. So I did not notice when I purchased my 4-pack of galvanized tube straps that the top was open and someone slid out one of my tube straps. So I only have 3. Whoa! I wanted 2 on each side to hold up my sign. So I was like, all right, fine. You'll have 2 on one side, 1 on the other. It'll be fine. Well, then I was looking through my screws and my nuts and I could only find 2 matching. So we're just gonna roll with it. And here's what I decided. I have straightened out as best as I could the tube straps, 2 of them. I also reinforce my sign on either side with a block of wood, so it fits properly. That will be mounted in the middle of the sign. But then I was like, I just feel like it needs extra security. So because we bought those zip ties at the Dollar Tree, I found some hooks. So 1.5 inches down from the top, I put in a hook. So I figure we'll drill a little hole in the top of our sign and we'll secure it with the zip tie. And then it will also be secured in the middle with our pipe strap. So that's the plan. And if I feel like I just need one more bit of security, which I shouldn't, because now that this is all cut out, it is like the lightest thing on the planet. But if I feel like I do, I could add another cup hook down at the bottom and zip tie the bottom, which I'm sure I probably will do. So it'll be zip tied at the top and the bottom and tube strapped in the middle. And then when we want to take it down, we could just cut the zip ties away and unscrew the tube straps. And then that will give us 2 singular poles and a singular sign so we could store it much easier. So I'm going to assemble that now and then we can spray paint. Okay, I know you can't really see it because it's fairly tall and it's not stuck into the ground, but it's definitely secured at the top. I did do a cup hook and zip tie at the top and the bottom with the pipe clamp in the middle. But honestly, had I thought about the cup hook and the zip tie before I thought about the pipe clamp, I would have just used 3 zip ties and cup hooks on each side. That would have been plenty secure. So if you end up making this, forget about the pipe clamp. because it was a pain in the ass, and the cup hooks and the zip ties were much better, and I feel like they're just as secure. Now that I kind of have it propped up and ready to go, we're gonna put on our primer coat, and then we're gonna put on our metal coat. And then while that's drying, we just can put our rebar into the ground, figure out where we're gonna stake it, and it'll be done. Okay, spray painting is officially done. I used 1 whole can of black primer and 1 whole can, almost. I tried to save a little bit for touch-ups, but pretty much 1 whole can of my metal spray paint. So now while that's drying, I'm gonna get the exact measurements of the width, and I'm gonna do it from the top so that I can translate that to the ground so I can hammer in my rebar. And then we'll be able to put it up. I also am kind of contemplating, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it. You know how it goes. I always say, oh, I'm contemplating this. I'm probably not gonna do it. And then I end up doing it. But I do have an extra strand of like purpley reddy Halloween lights. So I was thinking from behind, maybe stapling the lights and then they would glow through. I don't know. I might tape them up to see if that looks okay before I make the final decision, but you guys won't know until the final reveal. Yay! Rebar and put it in and we're done. So I put my rebar in. It was super easy. I just used a hammer and hammered it into the ground. It is 1 foot into the ground and 3 feet above ground. And I feel like that's pretty sturdy. So now, as soon as that arch is dry, I can carry it on over, slide the PVC pipe over that and inside the pot so it's covered. Yeah, I don't want to rush it. I know it's still wet, but I want to rush it and get it out here so we could all see it. So give me like a minute for it to dry.
12 seconds later.
Okay, I waited long enough. Let's assemble it. It's still kind of wet, but it'll be fine. So pots going down. Cute. Love it. Good news is it's totally lightweight. Oh shit, tree. Oh, there's one. Aha. Woohoo! Okay, I did put the chain on, but I still am undecided about the lights. So let me show you the final reveal. No lights. It's daylight. So here we go. Oh, I mean, guys, we saved $300 doing this ourselves, and it looks amazing. So hold on to your hats. Dun, 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 dun. It is like 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide. It looks amazing. I am thrilled. It is just what the front yard needed. Come on, take a closer look. The spider finials, like, come on. Can't nobody tell me nothing. This looks so good. Okay, so seriously, if this video doesn't deserve a hype, I don't know what video does, because this DIY literally saved us upwards of $300.
This is basically free.
The supplies cost me right around $70 from the Lowe's and the Dollar Tree. But as I was going through it, I was already thinking of ways I could have saved myself some money. So I know you guys can save some money if you recreate this, which you totally should. I don't know why you're not just jumping in your car right now. Super easy, minimal tools, a can of spray paint. And like I said, yes, because I have a jigsaw, I was able to like intricately cut out letters, but I think it would look just as good if you just got a straight fence board, painted it, and stenciled on the word cemetery. I think it would look just as good. I'm telling you, my favorite part are the spider stakes from the Dollar Tree. Those finials up at the top really give it that this is an old-timey wrought iron cemetery gate situation. I love it. I am not sure about the lights. Part of me is being lazy about it. The other part of me is like, well, I could just like do lights up one leg, over the top, and down the other, and that would save me from like trying to like staple gun them in and around the back of the cemetery board. I don't know. I just don't know if like putting lights behind the cemetery board so there's that glow would make it more or less legible. Part of me wants to, because all my uplights that I bought at Big Lots a couple, 3 years ago, they're all dead and you can't put a battery in them. They're straight solar, because if I had uplights, I would just put 2 uplights in front and uplight them. So part of me is thinking you want some uplights for your yard anyways to replace the horrible ones from the big lot. So I could just go get 2 uplights. So yeah, for the time being, it's going to be light free. Let's just call this cemetery gate DIY done. I'm just staring at it. It's right there. And I'm looking at it from the back and it still looks amazing. I love it. And I can't believe, guys, if you are looking to make a Halloween DIY that you will keep year after year, it's easy to store. It comes all apart. You just have 2 8-foot long PVC pipes, a 4-foot by like maybe 2-foot piece of board. All that stuff is going to go right up in my rafters in the garage once I take down my Halloween. So super easy to store. It was really easy to do. If I had to do it again, I would forego those galvanized pipe clamps and I would just do the cup hooks and the zip ties. That was super easy. And even though those pipe clamps were only like $3, still, it's $3. I still have plenty of zip ties left over, so totally could have just used zip ties. I mean, I'm just saying, it was really good. All the kids are gonna be so scared. So yeah, with all that said, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you are alerted to all of the DIY Wednesday videos I push out, which is every other Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you give this video a hype, share it with your family and friends, and as always, thanks for hanging out.